This is the Into the Paddock Podcast.
The highlight, obviously, from the race for many is the headline news that Chase Elliott, someone that we have spent the last couple of months slagging off for not being anywhere, won. Which is
good for him.
Yeah, and whilst I'm for a few years, Chase Elliott was my favorite driver in Cup, and
he's everyone's favorite driver.
Yeah, but he was my favorite just because of the way he raced. But a lot of other people like him for his personality, which I would ask, what personality? There was a joke that we were having whilst we were watching the race that the commentators were like, "Oh, this is an emotional win for Chase Elliott," and he gets out and he's just like, "I'd like to thank my sponsors." Just, I don't get, but people obviously like him because of his dad. And that's where a lot of people. I started following Chase because he was the replacement of Jeff Gordon immediately after his retirement, and I thought he was kind of cool, and then kind of went off him. But I don't get the whole his personality because he doesn't have one. But and that's fine. Drivers don't have to be. They don't have to force themselves. I'm not saying that Chase should force himself to be something he isn't. If he is quiet and reserved, then he should be allowed to be quiet and reserved. But it's the fact that he's bigged up as this massive personality, and he just kind of isn't. It's nothing of his doing, really. It's more of just the fan perception and the media perception around him. I don't really understand it.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. But the important thing is that he's managed to snap a 42 race winless streak, and that is huge.
It was like 500 something days, right?
Yeah, his last win was at Talladega, I believe, in 2022, and he's really struggled with the next gen car. He's admitted that he's just not taken to it as well as a lot of other people have. So for him to get a win at not a restrictor plate race, actually a track that requires a lot of skill in Texas, it was a high limit track. It was very easy to make a mistake. And yet he was the most aggressive driver of the day, and he was the one that deserved to win. He drove a fantastic race, moved through to the front really, really easily. It seemed like, he was able to be a much more aggressive than a lot of other people around him, and he reaped the rewards of that. So I'm glad for him to win. I think NASCAR is better with a fully competitive Chase Elliott because he is a very, very capable racing driver. Personality and all of that aside, the thing that matters is whether you're a talented race car driver. And Chase Elliott, on his day, is one of the best. So I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him to have managed to get that win. And it'll be interesting to see whether this is now positive momentum that carries on into other races where he traditionally struggles, or whether this was kind of a one-off. We saw the momentum getting better over the last few races at different racetracks, like the short tracks. But it'll be interesting to see whether he is now able to go that extra mile where over the last 2 years he hasn't been able to do so.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It's weird. Sometimes these guys go through a long dry streak, and all it takes is a win to get back on the train. But sometimes it doesn't.
Yes.
Sometimes this could be Chase Elliott's last NASCAR win.
Any driver could have their last race like tomorrow, like in terms of race win, and their momentum and everything could just sap it away. So you don't know. Yeah.
I did like how he gave a little shout out to Alan Kulwicki.
Yeah, because this was another streak that was broken, because this was that there's a thing in NASCAR about sponsors being cursed. For a long time it was the Coca-Cola curse, where no driver running a Coke scheme would have a good win. And McDonald's were another one until Bubba won with them at Talladega. Hooters were the primary sponsor on Elliott's car this week, and they have not won a race since Alan Kulwicki won at Pocono in 1992. A race where, if JD was here, I'm sure he would remember vividly. The tribute that Chase made by doing the Polish victory lap that Alan Kulwicki used to do was really cool. I would say a little bit of the shine of that was lost because a lot of people do that now. But
I mean, you put your driver door right there by the fence, and you can look those people in the face and, give them a good fist bump or flip them off, depending if you're Danny Hamlin or not.
Yep.
Yeah. So Yeah, I rather like the Polish victory lap.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing.
It's really cool. It's personal to a lot of the fans because again, they don't see you at all the entire race, and then you win, and you turn around and put that driver window right there next to the fence and drive them. Yeah, I dig it.
And that's why, going back to what we were talking about right at the beginning of the show with the I don't like the front stretch interview. I wish that remained a moment between the driver and the fans. You get out your car, you go get your checkered flag, you celebrate with them, you maybe give the flag over, and then you get in your car and go do victory lane and all the corporate shit back at victory lane where they can't see you. It's not ruining that moment, the raw emotion of the moment. It's not interrupting that.
Yeah, Jamie Little can chase you down anywhere. It doesn't have to be right there on the front.
Yeah. And I'm waiting for the day that cameraman who's really brave with the donuts gets hit by a car because, they've gotten close a couple times. So,
oh, yeah. Well, those guys have, I think, some of the biggest balls on the racetrack.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've seen, they do zero flinching when cars are just hauling ass in and out of pit boxes and they're running between people. They don't give a fuck.
Especially in a series with Mustangs, that's they're known for that kind of thing. But
yeah.
This is the Into the Paddock Podcast.